Hello and welcome back to Dream Girl. Today we're joined by Lamide Elizabeth, who is, as she described herself, a banker, a real estate investor, and a content creator. Hi Lamide, how are you?
Hi Sheen, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So nice to see you in Dubai.
No, Dubai.
Hey.
When I started watching your channel, I was in London. I had no thoughts about going to Dubai. You wasn't even in Dubai, and now...
Right?
Crazy.
It's almost 2 years since I moved and I can't believe it.
It's been 2 years?
Almost. In like
Wow.
July is 2 years.
Wow.
How long has it been for you now?
5 months. So like
No
start
way.
of Jan. Yeah.
I saw you when you had just moved. It's
Yeah.
already been 5 months.
Yeah.
How are
Time
you
is
finding
flying.
it?
I love Dubai.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But what brought you here?
What brought me here? I don't know how I ended up in Dubai. I swear, a year ago, I came to Dubai for the first time on a stopover, 20-hour stopover. And I was like, unimpressed, not that good. Probably
Yep.
won't be back for like 5 years. And then as time went on, you know what? I was listening to a podcast and it was one thing the lady said that actually like really triggered me to actually start looking into it. And she was just like, people in Dubai are earning, 1.5 times, 2 times, 3 times their income because of taxes and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, doubt that's true. Went on LinkedIn and just started to try and figure out like, are people really earning that much? And that was the start of it. And then I ended up here.
So it was purely for money. We love that.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. It's money, but it's more so just lifestyle. And when I say money, it's not like the love of money. It's just like I'm in that stage of life where I'm trying to build wealth.
Yes.
Like a lot of my content is about like property investing, wealth building. And so being here allows me to do that at a much quicker rate.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, tell us a bit more about the career now. Where did it start? Where are you right now?
So, career-wise, I feel like I was preparing for the interview with the questions you sent, and I was like, when you say career, what do you mean?
Oh,
Because
great question.
I think that for a lot of people, their career would be what you do during your 9 to 5. When I think about my career, I don't think about my corporate job at all.
That's interesting, isn't it?
I really don't think about my corporate job. But for background, for people who don't know who I am, so I work in banking. I work in an investment bank. I got into banking from very young, maybe like A-level time. I knew that I wanted to go work in investment banking. And then throughout uni, I just did everything I knew I needed to do to get into banking. So I did my spring weeks, I did my summer internships, converted that to a full-time job. Started in London. I trained at an investment bank in London, and then I moved here and I'm still working at an investment bank. So that's my professional career.
Got it. That's like what you were trained for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now talk to us about the real career.
The real career. So I kind of see, the reason why I say I wouldn't necessarily call that my career, because when you think about a career, you think about something you want to do. Like a career is a lifetime thing, right?
Something you don't retire from, right?
You know what I mean? Like it's something that you're going to be doing in 10 years time, you still see yourself doing it. In 20 years time, in 40 years time, you still kind of see yourself doing that. And I don't see myself doing what I'm doing now in the next 10 years. So I don't really see it as my career. When I think about my career, I think about everything that I'm doing in total. That is my career, right? So it's the content creation side of things, it's the investing side of things. And that all comes together to form my career. So what was the question again?
The question was, what was your career path?
Yeah,
I think we've covered it a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess, well, we know your day job and we know your after day job.
Yeah.
But so what brought you into real estate and then content creation as well?
Ooh, okay, so I would say that growing up without much, I always knew that once I got older, I don't want to be in the same situation that I grew up in. I don't want to have the same restrictions with money and stuff like that. I want to grow up and I want to feel comfortable. I don't want money to be a factor in everything. If I want to go on holiday, money is a factor. If I want to, there were little things that I couldn't do when I was younger. Like, you wouldn't have heard, NCS?
No.
Okay. So in the UK, it's very popular for when you're around around A levels, I think, to go on this like trip for like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's called the National Citizenship, something like that. It's a very common student thing, and it was £30 to go on that trip. And I remember like really wanting to go. All my friends were going, and it's not just a school thing. It's like
it's national,
nationwide thing, right? Everyone was going, but you know, we didn't have £30 for me to go on that trip. And I remember just feeling like, oh, like this is not going to be my story for long. So I was just like, I'm like, money is important to me to make sure, so that I don't have to think about money. I need to get my money right. And so I took a gap year and I started working. That's when I first started earning like serious money. Serious money. But for an 18-year-old,
it was serious money.
And so I was doing that, and I was like, damn, I need to learn how to manage this money. So that was when I first picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I just started flexing that saving muscle, etc. And then I've always been like a dreamer, I would say, from like quite young. And I had this vision board, and I had the unis that I wanted to go to. I had the grades. I had, you know, getting into a relationship, like, and I was making my way through this like dream chart that I did for myself. And then the next thing was a house.
Right.
It was a house, and then there was kids, but we skipped the kids part. I was like,
we have time for that.
Yeah, we'll leave that part out. I did this when I was young, maybe not the kids part, but the house part, I actually want to start pursuing that. And so going into uni, I had like £10,000 saved from this job that I did, and I was like, I actually want
that's
to do
impressive.
Something. I know, right?
Going into uni, you had £10,000.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I really want to do something with this. And then I was looking into buying a house. I thought I could buy a house with just £10,000 as a uni student. And then my eyes opened, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna need a bit more. And then I came across this lady called Aisha Ofori. I probably mentioned her in every interview that I do, but she had a very similar career path to me in terms of working in banking. And then she had this multi-million-pound property portfolio and everything. And I was like, I want to get my first property. And so it was more so a case of, I had this money there. I know that I shouldn't just be sitting on this money. This money needs to work for me. And so then I decided to purchase a property. So I bought one coming out of university, and I just wanted to share that journey. And when I first started YouTube, I was talking about banking, and it was I was just kind of like, there is no longevity in this, because like I said, this is not my long-term career. So I'm like, talking about banking, I don't know how long this is going to last for me, because also as well, you get to a point where it's like, I've said everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've actually said everything, whereas money, investing, property, that's a lifetime journey.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So then I started to switch from the banking content into, actually, let me share this other side of me that I'm actually genuinely interested in, and I can create content on over and over and over. Like, I know that this can move with my life. And so that's how I got into the like investing and talking about money and property and all that stuff.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay, a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Right? Firstly, when you think about this right now, how do you feel?
About what?
When you think about the journey so far.
How do I feel? I don't know. I feel neutral.
Neutral?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you feel when you signed your first property?
Also neutral.
Really? Oh, that's really interesting. You know why? Because I feel like it comes from us people who we didn't have much growing up, and then when you get it, you don't get super excited as well.
Yeah.
Why is that, do you think?
I feel like it takes a while to sink in. It's like,
there's a fear as well, I think, of that not being enough. I think, right?
And then on to the next thing.
What is the next one? Yeah. How do I keep building that stack?
Yeah, it takes a while for things to sink in for me. Like, with all of my achievements, it's always a while. It's like 2 years down the line, I'm like, damn, that was actually pretty good. 2 years later, I'm like,
that was sick.
You did that. So yeah, it took a while. But when I first bought it, you know why? I think a lot of it was because it was an investment property. It wasn't so tangible to me. I'd never been into the property till today.
It's not like you have the keys. I
don't have the keys. I didn't even get to pick up the keys because it was outside of London, and so I had a property source of doing everything.
Someone else already took it. Yeah.
All I actually felt was, I looked at my account and I'm like,
my money's gone.
My money's gone. My money is gone, and where my money has gone to, I've never been where my money is.
Yeah.
Like, so it was very like, it wasn't very tangible. So it was just like, yeah, I felt very neutral.
It's really interesting because I've had this conversation many times about money, especially when you come from a bit of a scarcity mindset, right? Because we grew up where money was not there all the time. So you try to keep your money.
Yes.
And then starting to move to that mindset of, I need to spend money to make more money.
Yes.
And then you're like, but then my money is gone.
That's a real blockade. Even just for me speaking to people, because of my content about money, a lot of people like share with me, you know, the stage that they're at. And a lot of people are sitting on £50,000, £60,000.
Oh, yeah. It's very normal.
And like, do not want to spend that money because it's like, I've spent so long saving this cannot go.
No.
But then you have to really switch your mindset, because the way rich people think about like money, and they see like buying a property as a form of a bank account.
Oh,
like,
100%.
I can sell this at any point, get my money back with interest.
Exactly.
This is just a better form of a bank account. And that's where you have to start switching from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Otherwise, you're going to be held back. Your mindset will really hold you back.
Oh, 100%. But how did you make the jump from scarcity to abundance mindset? What are your tips?
Oh, I am still making the jump. Like, I am definitely still in the process. It's so hard.
It's a work in progress.
It really is, especially when it's been ingrained in you for so long. When your mindset was forming, you had all of these things that you saw. So you build a mental schema around like scarcity. So it's really hard to transition. I think for me, I have to remove my emotion from things, like my tendency and my emotion to want to keep this money. Take away the emotion, because if you act on emotion all the time, you're not going to get to the bag. You're not really going to get to where the money is. So I try to take my emotion aside from it and think, okay, cool, because I'm a very risk averse person as well. So things have to make sense for me. So at least if the numbers are making sense and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, cool, I put this amount down, but I can get this and this back in so and so amount of time. I'm okay to release my money with that process that I've already gone through.
Right.
And I think it's also the confidence that if you let go of money, it will come back to you. Because a lot of people feel like if they let go of money, it's never going to come back to them. Whereas I've had to train myself to kind of be like, I attract money. How I am and the value that I have, I can attract money to me. So even if this money goes, I can make it again.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. This whole idea of even if it goes away, I do believe in my abilities now to bring that money back a different way, right? And I think it's the same way, even with this podcast, for example, you know, I decided, look, I'm just going to invest in it, get this podcast studio, get it done, because I'm investing money into something that I'm confident will bring me more money back at some point, even if it's not immediate. But I think that mindset of spend money to make money is something that many people struggle with.
Yes.
Right? And I personally struggled with it as well, especially, you know, the thing you said where people have money in their bank account and they're keeping it. When I started my first job, I was like this. It just made me happy to see it there. Right? You're like, oh, look, it's there. You know, especially when you're at uni and you're a poor student, you have like £25 in your bank account. You're like, now I have money.
It does.
Right. And it's just such a feel good. But then you need to break out of that mindset and start to realize that your money is just sitting there. You need to get it doing things for you.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. But, you know, I love the fact that you do content creation around money and you're giving actual practical tips to people. So what has been your experience of doing content creation?
Oh, which part of the experience?
Tell us the highlights. What's the best thing about it?
About creating content?
Yeah.
Oh, I think one of the best things about creating content is you attract what you put out there. So when you actually start putting content out there, oh my, do you know what? You know what the best thing is? Oh my God. This is something that is still like dawning on me, right? When I was growing up, this is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
You're
4
like
years ago.
50 years ago.
There are a lot of people that I looked up to, right? And I'm just like, wow, this person is absolutely amazing. I wish I could have a conversation with them. I wish I could, I don't know, be their friend. I used to have all of these people that I just looked up to, right? And becoming a content creator myself has put me in like, I don't know how to explain it, but like these people are automatically now people that I am like colleagues or like associates with. People who I was just like, oh my God, this person is absolutely amazing. Like Patricia Bright, for example.
I know.
I've watched her for years, loved her, everything. And now like, she's someone that, you know, I see at events that I get invited to. She also gets invited to. I can have that conversation with her. She knows who I am.
Yes.
Like for me, that would have been enough. I literally have a picture with her like maybe like 12 years ago where I went to her first meet and greet with her husband. And I'm like, I love this person. And now for her to know who I am, know who my work is.
As a peer, right? She knows you as a peer.
Do you know what? Like someone who's like doing the same sort of content. And the same with like, there's another girl out here called Chidi. It was only 2 years ago I got introduced to her and what she does. And like, she's like go to her house kind of thing. Like, you know, like it's
mad.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I think that's been the highlight of content creation. There isn't really many people now that I'm like, I really love this person and they're not in my network.
Or you can't reach out to them somehow,
Or you can't
right?
just reach out to them and they actually like take you in. So that has been the highlight for sure.
Oh, for sure. I completely agree. It's like, it's crazy how, because I think we don't realize that social media brings us so close to people now. Celebrities, influential people, they all have social media. And of course you need some sort of credibility or some sort of connection for them to actually respond to you, or you're offering something of value.
Yes.
But I've had the same experience where even with the podcast, when I'm reaching out to invite people, I get a response. And sometimes like people will tell you, oh, I've seen your content online. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And suddenly you feel like, oh, the spotlight is on now. But it's so nice. I completely, even we became friends through social media.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think there's definitely the side of influential people, but even making friends with other people who are like-minded, who you would not have met otherwise.
Yes, just creating a community of people who are interested in the same things that you are. It's honestly made it so easy. And I think, because a common question that I get is like, how do you make friends and how do you connect with people? But I'm like, honestly, as a content creator, it's not going to be as hard for me because I'm putting stuff out there, so I attract people.
Exactly.
Like, it's just
automatically, right? Yeah, and I love this idea of even in terms of opportunities, right? Because if you are not online, you're kind of like restricting yourself to, for example, if you're bound to a village somewhere.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of you meeting someone from a different country is very low. But the further you increase your network, the likelihood of you bouncing against somebody when opportunity increases. And I've had this so much with social media. And I think we do talk a lot about the toxic aspects of social media, but we don't talk enough about the positive aspect of social media as well. I'm sure you agree.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about your content creation and your investment and everything. So now let's talk about, you mentioned, that you were looking up to Patricia Bright and all of these people. Have you had any considerable mentors growing up or even now as a young professional? No. Tell me why.
I have not had any formal mentoring.
Yeah.
No formal mentoring. I've always like signed up for mentoring and stuff. And when I've always signed up for these like process-driven mentoring schemes, they've never actually worked. They just never work. The best form of mentoring is when so Aisha, like someone who I've mentioned who's like really good in property, she is like my informal mentor. Like maybe it's every like 6 months I'll catch up with her. Maybe we'll have a 30-minute conversation, but in those 30 minutes, I'm taking notes and notes and notes and notes and notes. We don't have a mentoring relationship where it's like, you are my mentor, I am your mentee. But we have this relationship where we actually both give each other value. And I take a lot of value because she is, somewhere where I want to be. And, she's much older than I am, so she's got more wisdom and stuff. But I've never had a formal mentor.
Okay. But do you think it would have made a difference to you if you had one?
I think it would have made a difference.
But not one that would have been considerable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm missing out on that much. Unless it was maybe something specific, like a particular, like a social media mentor or like a business mentor, something very specific. But in general life, I'm sure there would have been benefits for sure. Yeah. But I don't feel like I've missed out massively.
Okay. So then let me rephrase that question because, we come from, I don't know about you, but I'm just assuming, but I didn't know anyone who did things that I'm doing now when I was younger, right? So I had to learn everything on my own. So that has always been a challenge, even when it came to, going into consulting, for example. I didn't personally know anyone in consulting, so I had to go out and network and then find people who can help me and assist me with this. Same thing with content creation, right? You start building your own network, and that means that for you to get to somewhere where other people have access better takes longer. Doesn't mean you won't get there, but it just takes a little bit longer. And for me, I feel like the people who played important roles in my career trajectory have been people who had that experience and then kind of like pushed me in the right direction. So did you have that experience as well?
I would say I completely get what you mean.
Yeah.
And I think that I've been lucky that, especially within the corporate space, there's always someone who is like more senior than me who wants to take me under their wing. Again, it's never been a formal mentorship, but there was always someone who's like, you know what, I quite like you. Let me advise you about this. I quite like you. If you ever need this XYZ, and I've been so blessed in that aspect, but I've never gone about looking for it. But there have definitely been people who have like championed me when I'm not there, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's just come from me being myself. And I think in general, like, let's say in a corporate space, I was that person who would reach out to people and like, you know, have a coffee with them.
You're social, right? Yeah.
Am I social?
Hey.
I guess a little bit. But yeah, so I can definitely see what you mean. But I would say that a lot of my mentors who aren't really my mentors are probably online people who have no clue that they're my mentors, but they are.
Right. Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? But now that you are online, do you feel like you are mentoring other people informally?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to do it formally?
Oh, I definitely know that I do it informally because there are some people who like update me with every milestone.
I love that.
I absolutely love it. They'll be like, you know, I implemented this and, you know, now I've got this internship here and now I'm thinking about getting this property, and I love it. And like, I don't even have to like speak to them directly, but through the content that I make, they're taking that and they're implementing it and they're giving me the updates, and I absolutely love it. I haven't asked so many times to do formal mentorship. I only have one mentee.
Oh, you do?
One mentee.
Okay.
And she, you know, I love her because she is like crazier than me, and that's the sort of people that I want to mentor.
Right, yeah.
Because I have a little bit of an issue, just a little bit of an issue, with people who want to be mentored but don't do the work themselves. They want you to drag them along, but the best sort of people to mentor is people who are already self-motivated, so then you can add value. Wanting a mentor, and I think that's why I say like a lot of people have in my life have, you know, wanted to mentor me because they could see how already self-motivated I am. It's a lot easier to work with it's a lot easier to direct a car that's already moving than to direct a car that like is static and doesn't move, doesn't want to do anything, but they want you to do all of the work. And so this mentee that I have, at the end of end of 2021, I was talking about like, you know, wanting to like build a team, and I need some support and help and stuff. And she came to me and she was like, at an event, she came to the event that I was at, she came to me after and she was like, I heard you need some help, I can help you. And I was like, okay, cool, send me an email. And she was like, okay, but in return, can you mentor me? I was like, okay, that's fine. And then a lot of the time I tell people, send me an email. They don't send me an email. They don't. She did. And I was like, okay, cool, can you send me your CV? And her responses up until that point were very, 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 very quick. And then when I said, send me the CV, it took her maybe like a day or two. And then she sent me the CV. And I was like, I looked at the CV and I was like, she went and created the CV. You didn't have a CV before.
There you go.
And I was like, but I like you because
you like the effort, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
That sort of effort, that's the sort of person I want to mentor. And then the first call we did, I was like, we need a CV rejig. That's the first thing we're going to do is rejig this CV. And then literally she called me the other day. It was her 18th birthday. I didn't even know. She called me. She's like, I'm 18 now. So which account should I open? What can I do? We're having this conversation. And I was like, oh, when did you turn 18, by the way? Happy birthday. She was like, it's today. I'm like, this is what you're doing on your 18th
on the
birthday. On the day. I'm like, are you not going out with your friends? And she was like,
no. It's about the money making here. Let's talk.
And I was like, yeah, this is the sort of mentee that I want to have. So, I only have one mentee. I wouldn't mind. I would consider doing some form of mentoring in the future, but I don't know. How do you feel about mentoring?
That's a very good question. So I'm very similar to you. I've never had a formal kind of like agreement with people that they are my mentor when I started off. But just like you, in different places that I've been, kind of like people took me under their wing and they stayed along the journey. And even now, whenever I have any professional challenges or questions, I would go to them immediately. And I expect a very, you know, no emotions involved kind of like third party objective view on what's going on. And I've been very lucky to have this. And similar to you, as a content creator, a lot of people will then send me messages telling me how my content has helped them this way, or how did they get this job or this. And it's always really nice to hear it. But I've never had a mentee like you. But I had an editor when I started my journey on YouTube, and he was 14. And that I was surprised when I found out that he was 14. And I was like, wait, am I allowed to work with a 14-year-old? I was like, what's going on here? He was like, no, my parents are on board. And like, he even got his parents involved. Aww. I know. And he asked me, he was like, look, I really want to go into Oxford for medicine. I would love it if in return you could just help me, you know, kind of like prepare myself for that. And I guess in that sense, it was a bit of mentoring in terms of, you know, how to prepare yourself to get into uni, but never professional mentoring. And I love it. I think we really need it in today's world. So when I joined consulting, for example, it was very surprising to me because at the early stages when everybody starts, the gender ratio is usually 50-50, right? And then when you go up at the partner level, I think we had maybe one female partner and then like 12 male partners. And I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then when I started working there and you get to know people, then you realize that the higher you go, because above you, there are fewer women, they don't really know who to ask. How do I work on this? Who do I speak to? Any advice on how do I prep my portfolio and things like that? And then I remember asking as well, I was like, do you have any advice on how to make this gender ratio a bit better the higher we go? And the main thing that comes up is we need mentoring. We need women who can mentor us, because it's really hard to get into the boys club sometimes, right? And especially you feel a little bit intimidated when it's just a boys club and you. But I think no, I agree. I think mentoring is really important, but I don't know if I know how to be a good mentor yet. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, that's how I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
One person is fine, but if I was to do like formal mentoring, I don't know. But are we doubting our ability to...
Oh, classic, right?
Because I'm like, oh, you could probably do it. You're just probably overthinking it.
I think we're probably already doing it without knowing it,
exactly.
right? But I do think that one role that I take very seriously is to try and make sure that the doors that were open for me are left open for people behind me, right? Yes. So that's the whole point of the podcast and the content creation, which is to make sure that other people have access to the information that I had to dig, so they could have access to it a bit easier. So that's been kind of like the motivation behind everything. But I'm sure it's the same for you as well, right? Because you worked so hard to build everything, and now that you're learning, you're sharing your learning as well with others.
Yes.
So I feel like that's a very big umbrella of mentoring in itself.
It really is. And that's really how I think about my content. It's like, it's the blueprint. Everything I've done, I've left like a little... Blueprint is the word, right?
It is a blueprint,
yeah. I've left like a little blueprint for everything that I've done. When I got into banking, that is very hard for a lot of people to do, especially investment banking, especially at the top investment banks. I left the blueprint there. When I bought my first property, did it, left the blueprint there.
There you go.
So yeah, it's true.
So we're just giving them actual tools.
Yeah.
Right? So that's even better, I think.
Yeah.
But so where you are now in your career, where do you see yourself kind of like going in the next 10 years, let's say?
Oof,
what's the ideal life?
I think my ideal life is to just wake up every day and mainly do things that I want to do and that I enjoy doing.
Oh, I love that.
And I think the internet allows you to do that. It really does. But you have to set up systems. You have to position yourself well to be able to do that. And that's what I'm trying to figure out at the moment.
That's a very good point. So I saw this, I think it was a reel or a TikTok, which said that for me, being rich does not mean being able to buy luxury items.
Oh God, no.
Being rich means I can have a soft morning where I wake up and do my breakfast, eat my breakfast, go to the gym, chill, and then decide what I want to do with my day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, honestly, I think for me that's what it means to be wealthy. Like that's real wealth to me.
Yes.
Completely agree with that.
Because your time, right? Oh, I agree. I'm the same. I'm not a morning person to start with. So my whole life I've had to wake up for jobs. Right? And I was like, yeah, this needs to change at some point.
I'm actually a morning person, you know.
I know.
I'm a 5 a.m.
Don't you go to the gym before you go to work?
Yeah, I went to the gym today. I woke up at 5:30. I was at the gym 6 a.m. Yeah. I even had a call at 6 a.m. in the gym as well.
Who are you calling at 6
My
a.m.?
friend, he's in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very much a morning person.
But then what time
yeah.
do you go to bed to wake up at 5?
My sleep schedule is something I need to sort out. You know what I do? I'll take a nap at like 8 p.m.
Okay.
till like 11. Then I
Okay.
wake up and be like, damn, why did you take a nap, man? You could have finished all your work. And then I like work till like 12:30 and then sleep and then wake up at 5:30.
That's not good for you.
It's not good.
You're really disturbing your REM sleep.
Honestly, like ideally I will stay awake till 10:30, sleep till 7:30, get 7 hours straight. But I just get so tired.
I'm sure you wake up at 5.
I know.
I wake up at 10 and I'm tired.
What time do you go to bed?
So on weekdays, usually I go to bed around midnight.
Okay.
Midnight, and then I'll wake up around 9.
Wow.
I just felt the judgment about my sleep.
No, that's some good sleep.
Well,
That's some good sleep.
no, I need 8 hours.
Yeah.
I try to get 8 hours, but when I tell you I go to bed at 12, I'll probably sleep at 1, right?
Fairs,
So that's why.
fairs.
But I try to get 8 hours. But morning for me is just impossible. I don't know how you wake up at 5. I've tried. You know, I was thinking of doing this. I saw this funny reel, which is my 5 a.m. morning routine, switch off my alarm and go to sleep. That would be me.
Yeah, but I think it's fine though. Are you like a in the night, like you come alive kind of person?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Like after 10 p.m., the creativity flows for me. So that's when I get all of my creative work done.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I shut down from 7 p.m.
I mean, yeah, because you've been awake since 5.
Yeah, I shut down from 7 p.m. When people are like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the club. 12 is not that late.
12 is
12
past
is-
bedtime.
12's, I'm sleeping at that point. Literally on Friday, my colleagues were like, yeah, I gotta get to the club. So like,
No,
Spoiler alert, I did not make it to the club. I didn't. Sorry, I was sleeping.
No, but the thing is, sleep is so important now.
Yes.
And you know, there's more and more research that shows that sleep affects everything. Your stress level, your heart, everything. And even how quickly you age. So maybe we should focus a bit more on the
It's like,
sleep.
everybody sleep 9 hours.
Get that beauty sleep going.
No, it is, especially because I go to the gym now as well, and like to even just make sure that my muscles are being rebuilt the way it needs to.
You need rest.
You need rest. So I'm like a minimum 7 hours of sleep. It's just I need to get it synchronized in one loop. But I'm not a I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of person.
Oh, no, same. I can't do that. I'm
Yeah.
very grouchy if I haven't slept properly.
Yeah, no, I need sleep.
I know, but have you ever tried those rings and stuff that monitor your sleep?
No.
Or your Apple Watch or anything? I haven't either because I feel like I should. Because we think we're sleeping for that long, but you don't know how much actual sleep you're getting in
How
that
much
time.
good deep sleep.
Right?
But I'm that person though, if I hit my bed, 10
Are you
seconds,
out? Same. I am out. Everyone knows this. And my sister makes a joke that even if a bomb was to go off, I would be very well asleep.
I am out. Like,
Oh, yeah. Same. But do you think that's because we're tired? Are we waiting too late to sleep? Is that why?
I can do it in the middle of the day too.
Really?
Yeah.
Also, I love that you said you nap because I love naps.
Yeah.
And people don't get it. And I was like, when I used to be a consultant, because I used to work like 12 hours days, right? During the day, I would just go for a really lovely 1 hour nap
Where?
because I work from home.
Oh.
Yeah, it was COVID at
I
that
thought you
time.
had pods. I was like, I
I wish, but then when I went to the office at 1 p.m., I was there like. My eyes
I feel
were
that
closing.
I'm oversleep though.
You think?
I think if I'd done it once when I was so tired, I went home, but like I couldn't enjoy the nap because I'm like, there's a possibility that I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. So I'll be too scared. I did used to, when I worked from home, I did used to take naps. I did.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sleep is great.
Yeah.
But in general, so you go to the gym in the morning. What's been your kind of like motivation to be physically active, or have you always been active?
So I don't always go to gym in the... So ideally, my ideal routine is that I wake up in the morning, and because I'm a morning person, I want to spend that time doing my creative stuff and like writing and editing and stuff like that, because in the evenings after work, I am mentally drained, but physically, I can do physical stuff. So ideally, on a weekday, I try to go gym in the evenings, but sometimes the nap takes me and then the gym's closed. But my motivation for fitness... I think just as I've been getting older, even just in general, I've been listening to a lot more fitness and health, not even just fitness, like health podcasts and stuff. And it was always an area of my life that every time I do like a life assessment, health and wellness would always be like 1 out of 5, because
good.
I would, especially because, do you say good?
Yeah.
1 out of 5 is bad.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean 1 out of 5?
So I'll rate my, like, all the areas of my life.
Oh, I thought you meant it's number 1 of your 5 priorities.
It would be the worst rated for like the longest time, because, especially because I've grown up naturally slim. And when you're naturally slim, you're like, I don't need to go to the gym.
You've never had to do anything.
I can eat whatever I want, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I was just realizing that, girl, you need to start taking care of your health and stuff like that. And so I was like, every year I'm doing this assessment, my health and wellness is at the bottom. You need to change this. And so at the start of 2022, I was just like, I'm going to get into my health and wellness bag. I got a personal trainer. I started eating 3 meals a day, because I was like an eat sweets all day sort of person as well.
No way. Yeah. Okay, well, good thing that you changed that now. I think because I've realized this thing, right? When someone said, if you get 1 million tomorrow, but your health would be really bad, would you take it? No.
Oh, no.
Exactly. Or I think it said that if you would die within a month because your health was so bad, but would you get 1 million tomorrow? You'll be like, no, I don't want it. So that's the whole thing of like, your health is actually your priority above making money, above everything else. But we don't take it that way.
We don't think of it like that. And you're not going to be able to enjoy your wealth if you don't have your health. Like,
exactly.
So yeah, no, health is super, super important, and I'm glad I take it seriously now.
Amazing. Okay. We don't have much time left, but I do want to talk about something which we discussed before the podcast, which was, this whole idea of female friendships. So we have a lot of female friends in common.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
And I know recently you had a wonderful trip in Dubai with the girls as well. Fortunately, I wasn't here to say hello.
Oh, yeah.
But so tell me, what has been, you said that it has not been an active effort, to be surrounded by female friends. But what's your experience of having female friends?
Oh, this is a very, it's such a, I think it's weird because it's something that I don't actually think about too much. So I've grown up around guys, men, boys. I have brothers, nephews, even my cousins that are of my age. It's just been men.
Right.
So I'm very comfortable around guys and stuff like that. But my friends have always been, I'm not one of those girls who are like, I hate women. I can only have
girls
guy
hate
friends.
me.
Yeah, like, I don't know why girls just hate me. They're always so bitchy. They're always like that. That is not me at all. So I don't know. I think the question. The question is, how do I find female friendships?
Yes. What's been your experience of female friendship?
Experience?
Like, what role does it play in your life?
Oh, you have to answer first, because I don't
Sure.
even know what I would say.
Okay, for me, it's quite important, and I feel like it has been one of the biggest kind of like support in my life, because I feel like having female friends who are there for you, who are your biggest cheerleaders, but also people who will check you when you are kind of like going the wrong way or kind of like doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And it's so important to have that relationship where someone is giving you an objective opinion, but they want the best for you and they will support you either way, but they just want to make sure every aspect of what you're doing, the impact of things. And this has been really important for me. And just also, it's like sisterhood is very powerful, I feel, because I feel like, whenever things are going wrong, I can go to them and completely open up and share that. And when things are going right as well, I have people to celebrate with me that are not necessarily going to compare or like be a little bit jealous and all of that. So for me, that has been really important. And I've had, over the time, I think when I was younger, I used to think I needed a big group of friends.
Yeah.
And that has really dwindled as I grew older. right? It's like taking the weeds out. And now it's a very, very tight group, but they've been there the whole time. And yes, it's true that as you age, you make new friends, especially you move to new cities, you start a new job, you make new friends, and you might happen to click with some of these people as well. But even then, I feel like the group stays small, but very key. And for me, I'm so grateful, and I feel like I've been very lucky in terms of the people that I've met. And I feel like they played a big role in me being who I am today.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah.
I love all of my friends. Like, I feel like I'm at the stage where I know who my friends are, and I love them, and I love them for all different reasons. Some of my friends are just funny, just to go on holiday and just laugh. I love those friends, and I have friends who are, you know, maybe in the same industry as me, and so that person I can go with, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think, or can you take a look at my page, what do you think I should change? That sort of friendship, and I love that as well. I don't know, I feel like they're my people. But do you know what, I think it's because when I started uni, I was of this thing where I'm gonna find all of my bridesmaids, I'm gonna find all my friends, I'm gonna have a big group of friends, and and it just wasn't. That was the height of my I need to find a sisterhood. And similar to you, I thought this would be in a group format. And I think now that I just have one-on-one or two, a group of three, a group of
separate groups.
So I guess I don't really process it as sisterhood. I guess when I think about sisterhood, I think about a big group. That's probably why to me it's sisterhood. But I love my friends. My friends have played an instrumental role in my life. I have an echo chamber, so I have a very, very small group of friends. Yes. Very, very small group of people who I allow into my space because I'm very protective of my mindset. I'm very protective of what I'm doing. And I think when you're at the beginning stages of something, or you're going on a path that's kind of like a pathless path, right? It's so important that you have the right, because one comment can throw you off.
Oh my God.
One comment can throw you off.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have the right people around you, and that's what my friends are to me.
I think, okay, that's great. And I think maybe your parting message will be, how do you make sure you have the right voices around you? How what's the process? Because I feel like I've been burnt a few times just because I don't know if I have identified the right way of selecting the right voices. And sometimes you think this is the right one, and then you're like, okay, they just said something that now has made me question my whole life.
This is so me. But this is the thing, I don't think I'm the expert on this topic. I feel like there's Courtney, Danielle, and Renee, they love to talk about the sisterhood stuff. I don't think I'm the expert on this because I am
but just generally, forget sisterhood, but generally, how do you select the people that are around you?
Around me? Ooh. Okay. It depends on different things. I think it's in one group of friends, I think it's super important to have people around you who have things going for themselves. Yeah. And it's not about being associated with people who are doing magnificent things. It's just that sometimes when you're going at a particular pace or in a particular direction, certain people, have you ever had someone tell you you're doing too much? I know that so many people who I've spoken to are people tell them you're doing too much.
Just slow down.
Yeah, just slow down, or you don't have to worry about that now. Or and it's because we're not going at the same pace, we're not going in the same direction. I can't have people like that when it comes to certain conversations are for certain friendships. And so when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, okay, cool, I want to see the evidence that you're kind of in that same direction that I am going in. You don't have to be doing the exact same thing, we don't have to even be in the same industry, but I need to see that level of self-development within you, because people will always speak from the sense of where they are. People, we all do it, we all project. And so if you're with someone who is they're looking at you and they're like, oh, she's doing too much, or I wish I could do what she's doing, or whatever, people naturally will project that onto you in so many different ways. And so for me, I always like to be around people that are happy with what they're doing, because there's the saying hating girls aren't happy and happy girls aren't hating, that kind of thing. And so where someone is in their own life, not in terms of status or anything, but how they feel about their own life. Because there are some people who are living a very average life, but are very happy, and they will give you advice. They will tell you, go for the moon, go for the star, blah, blah, blah. But that's because of how they feel within themselves. So that's important for me. But the reason why I'm a bit hesitant, because like you, if I hear one thing that I'm that sounds I'm like,
All right. Don't drag me down.
Yeah, I don't know if this can continue. So that's something I'm actually trying to work through, because I'm also trying to understand that people, even if they do project, it's coming from themselves. It's something that they're still trying to work through.
Them.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily that this person may be trying to drag you down or whatever. Maybe they're just going through something at the time. But yeah, I don't know if that was a good answer. But
that was a great
answer too, just so they have.
That was a great answer. I think I totally agree with you. It's like the energy needs to match.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not that the person is a bad person. It's just a misalignment in terms of where you're going, how much growth you want in your life, and what do you see for yourself, right? And sometimes people have very different visions. Some people are happy with where they are and they don't want to think about the future, and that's fine. But maybe we will not jam. And I think being on different energy levels and vibrations mean that it's better to part ways, just so that we don't impact each other negatively.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of selection, I'm still trying to figure that out. I'll let you know because it's just been a question of sometimes you find the right people, sometimes you don't, and it's a learning process. And I guess as we grow older, we might become better at it.
Yeah, you put that so eloquently.
Thank you.
That's what I meant to say.
Well, thank you, Lamide. This has been wonderful. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, it went so quick. It's been like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. And I hope you stay in Dubai for much longer.
I will.
Yeah. Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.